day to you. I'm here to tell you a story that took place a long time ago. Might have been hundreds of years ago, in this quaint little English village. Well, actually, the first part of the story doesn't take place in it, but near it in the meadows, halfway between the village and the shoulder of the downs. That's where the little shepherd boy lived. He spent much of his time, when he wasn't helping his parents, and often when he was as well, buried in big volumes lent him by the neighboring gentry. His mother was a sensible woman and let the boy read as much as he wanted, for as she often said, reading might come in handy someday. Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello.
What are you reading about today?
Oh, about mythical beasts.
Mythical beasts?
Uh-huh. You know, unicorns and gorgons and dragons, things like that.
Son, I was just passing that cave up there on the downs, and I heard noises like heavy grunts and sighing and maybe a little snoring mixed up in them. So I took a look around the cave to see who it was, and there I saw him just as plain as I see you.
Saw who?
Why, him. He was as big as 4 cart horses and all covered with shiny green scales. Scales, you know, and claws and a tail for certain, even though I couldn't see the end of him.
Oh, it's all right, Mother. It's only a dragon.
A dragon? How do you know?
'Cause it is, and 'cause I know. I've been reading about them in this book.
I knew reading would come in handy someday.
You know, I always thought that was a dragon cave, and I was surprised there wasn't a dragon in it. So it doesn't surprise me at all that there's a dragon in it now. I think I'll take a stroll up there and have a talk with him.
No, dear me.
Oh, it's all right, Mother. You'll see. Dragons are quite sensitive, it says here.
Well, he did seem quite peaceable and lonely, too. I'm not half happy in my mind thinking of him away up there without a bit of hot supper. You run along and find out, but first have a spot of tea.
After he'd had his tea, the boy strolled up the chalky path to the summit of the downs, and there, sure enough, he found the dragon stretched lazily in front of his cave. The dragon seemed to be in a happy and contented mood, and indeed, as the boy approached, he could hear the beast purring with disturbing regularity.
Well, you live and learn. None of my books ever told me dragons purred. Hello?
Now, don't use spunk stones or squirt water or hit me with sticks. I won't have it, I tell you. I won't.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I only looked in to see how you were. But if I'm in the way, I can easily clear out. I never stay where I'm not wanted.
No, don't go away in a huff. The fact is, between ourselves, it does get a little dull up here at times.
Gonna make a long stay here?
I can't say presently. Settling down is such a serious business, but I'm such a lazy dragon.
Oh, you surprise me.
Oh, I don't ramp and rampage like those other dragons, but I have an active mind, always occupied.
Occupied with what, I'd like to know?
Well, did you ever try to write poems?
Oh, all the time. But nobody ever listens to them.
My problem exactly. Someone was up here just a while back, but they didn't stop to listen either.
Oh, that was my mom. Would you like to meet her?
Of course.
Mom! Ooh, Mom! Mom, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. Mom, dragon, Mom.
How do you do?
Oh, pleased to meet you. He's big, isn't he? Here's some pea soup for you.
It's green. That's my favorite color. I've worn green ever since I was a little dragon, small, scaly thing, smaller than you. Oh, well.
Oh, could I have the cup back, please?
I thought you ate that part too.
Dear me, no.
Oh. I like it so much, I've written a poem about it. By Dragon. Pea soup is the soup, for pea soup is green.
Oh, that was very nice, Dragon.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. She's very nice.
Yes. But everybody isn't nice like my mom.
Pity.
You are a dragon, you know. You're an enemy of the human race.
I haven't an enemy in the world. I'm too lazy.
Well, when people find out you're up here, they're gonna come after you with swords and spears and all sorts of things. You're a pest and a scourge and a baneful monster.
But not a word of that is true. Now listen to my new poem. I was writing it just as you came upon the scene.
Oh, do be sensible, Dragon.
By Dragon. There was a friendly dragon who wanted to retire. He never rapped and rampaged and never did refire.
Oh, that was nice, Dragon.
Dragon?
Oh, no, just as I feared.
Dragon!
Oh, what's the matter, dear? What is it?
It's a dragon up there in the cave. A dragon!
A dragon? Oh, I say, are you quite sure?
I am always sure it was a dragon. A dragon!
Oh, speak to me, dear.
What are you going to do? You've got to do something.
I don't know what to do.
Well then, do what you always do when you don't know what to do. Call a meeting to decide what to do.
Oh, good idea. I'll call a meeting.
Yes?
Call a meeting!
Ring the church bells! Sound the trumpet! Hear ye, hear ye! The mayor has called a meeting to decide what to do.
Call the meeting to order, dear.
Yes, dear. Meeting come to order.
That was very good, dear.
Oh, thank you, dear. A dragon has moved into our town, and we must decide what to do about it.
I say let him stay. It'll be a feather in our cap to have our very own dragon. And besides, no one's using that cave he's in anyway.
I say, chop off his head.
Oh, no, you can't do that. He's my friend.
Quiet, boy.
But he's the nicest dragon.
Quiet! Boy should be seen and not heard.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that? That little boy talked back to me. What are you going to do about it?
Little boy, children are to be heard and not seen. What?
Yes, sir.
Now, are there any volunteers to chop off the dragon's head?
No!
Oh, sorry, dear, no volunteers.
That doesn't matter. We'll get a professional. We'll get St. George, the Dragon Killer.
Oh, how are we going to do that, dear?
Well, I have this little pigeon that I trained myself. Pidgey! Pidgey! Pidgey!
Do. Did anybody call for a Pidgey carrier?
I called you, Pidgey.
Oh.
Now listen carefully. You're going to take a message.
Oh.
Give him the message, dear.
Oh, yes, dear. St. George the Dragon Killer, come slay our dragon. Signed, the mayor.
St. George, the mayor killer, come slay our mayor, signed the dragon. Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
Pidgey, no, you weren't listening.
Oh.
Now listen carefully. Give him the message again, dear.
Oh, yes, dear. St. George the Dragon Killer, come slay our dragon. Signed, the mayor.
St. George, the killer, come slay our town, signed the dragon.
Oh, you bird brain. Now listen with both ears. Give him the message again, dear.
Yes, dear. Ahem! St. George the Dragon Killer, come slay our dragon. Signed, the Mayor.
St. George, the Dragon Killer, come slay my wife. Signed the mayor. Yeah.
Oh, Piggy, that did it. Now, you better listen carefully, because I'm going to give you the message. And if you get it wrong, I'm going to put you in the soup for tomorrow.
Oh, I don't want
Now
to be in the
listen.
soup.
St. George, the Dragon Killer, come slay our dragon. Signed, Mrs. Mayor.
St. George, the Dragon Killer, come slay our dragon. Signed, Mrs. Mayor.
Very good. Now fly away, bird.
Oh,
Now, dear, we better go in the house. We've got lots to do. I'm going to make cookies.
Oh, cookie, splendid.
Oh, no! I better go warn that silly old dragon.
The boy made off up the hill as fast as he could lay his legs to the ground. The dragon, well, he was just lying around making up some new poems.
There was a reluctant no. There was a dragon reluctant.
It's old dragon. He's coming. You'll have to pull yourself together and do something at last.
Now calm down, boy, and don't be violent. Sit down and be very cool and very calm. And remember, noun governs verb. So tell me who is coming.
Oh, that's it. Be cool. It's only St. George the Dragon Killer that's coming.
Who?
St. George the Dragon Killer, that's who.
Oh, dearie me.
I knew he would say that.
Well, I simply won't see him, and that's flat. I don't even want to know the gentleman. I'm sure he isn't even very nice. Tell him I'm not seeing anyone presently.
But Dragon, there's got to be a fight sometime because he's St. George and you're the dragon. Might as well get it over with.
That's easy for you to say.
Besides, you said yourself, it's dull up here. Think how exciting it would be.
My dear little friend, understand this. I cannot fight, and I won't. Why, I've never fought in my life, so I can't start now.
Well, if you don't fight, he'll chop off your head.
Oh, I think not. I have every confidence in the world in you. I'm sure you'll be able to make some sort of arrangement. You're such a little manager. Now, I'll finish this poem of mine and leave everything to you. Now, where was I? There was a dragon.
Arrange something.
There was a reluctant.
That dragon's treating the whole affair as if it were an invitation to tea.
There was
Oh,
a reluctant
no.
dragon. There was a dragon. No.
The boy made his way back to the village in a state of great despondency. First of all, there wasn't going to be a fight. Next, his friend the dragon hadn't turned out to be such a hero after all. And lastly, whether the dragon was a hero at heart or not, St. George would undoubtedly chop his head off. Just then, the church bells rang. The trumpets blared. St. George the Dragon Killer had arrived!
My good man, could you tell me the way to the mayor's home?
Certainly. That way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Someone's at the door, dear. See who it is.
Yes, dear. Who is it?
St. George, the Dragon Killer, at your service.
Oh, it's St. George, is it? Well, tell him to come in, dear.
Yes, dear.
yes, of course, dear. Come in, St. George. We have so much to tell you.
Now, St. George, you see, we have this terrible dragon.
A terrible dragon.
And I thought the best thing would be to have you come up here and get rid of him for us.
Oh, get rid of it, yes.
Madam, I'll answer the door for you. I can see that you're terribly busy. St. George, the dragon killer, at your service.
Oh, St. George, I want to talk to you about this little matter of the dragon.
Ah, yes, another tale of misery and woe, I fear me. Was it a fond parent? A tender sister or brother, perhaps? Oh, did he do away with your dear old mum?
Nothing like that. You see, there's been a misunderstanding. This is a good dragon.
Exactly. I'm happy to hear that he is a good dragon. An adversary worthy of my steel and not a feeble specimen of his noxious tribe.
Oh, he's not a noxious tribe. Why, he's my friend.
I have no doubt he has many good points if you are his friend. However, I have heard terrible things about him.
Well, none of them are true. He's a poet, and he doesn't want to fight. Why don't you come meet him and see for yourself?
Well, I say, that's most irregular. However, I have never seen a dragon face to face, except, of course, in the field of battle.
So, they went to the cave on the shoulder of the downs, where the dragon was composing some new poems.
By dragon. There was a friendly dragon who didn't want to fight. No matter how they poke him, he wouldn't even bite. A bite.
Dragon, I brought somebody to meet you. St. George, Dragon. Dragon, St. George.
How'd you do?
How do you do? Now, I must finish my poem. Now, let's see.
Dragon? This is St. George. St. George, the dragon killer?
Who?
St. George, the dragon killer, that's who!
Oh, dearie me.
I knew he would say that.
No, I stay there, Dragon. I think we'd better come to an understanding. Don't you think the best thing would be for us to fight according to the rules and let the best man, or as the case may be, beast, win?
Yes, Dragon. Why don't you fight? It'll save such a lot of bother.
My dear little friend, shut up. You see, St. George, there's no one I would like to oblige more than my little friend. But I'm not the sort of dragon who can fight you, and that's flat.
But suppose I make you fight.
Yes, suppose he makes you fight.
Oh, I think not, because I can go to my cave and retire until he is too sick and tired of waiting for me to come out.
Oh, but I say, this is a lovely place for a fight. The rolling down.
The rolling down?
Rolling.
The flowers in the meadow.
Flowers in the meadow?
I in my silver helmet.
Silver helmet?
You
Shiny.
in your slimy green scales.
Green scales.
Trumpets
Slimy.
blowing.
Trumpets blowing.
Banners waving in the breeze.
Banners waving in the breeze.
Crowds cheering.
Crowds cheering.
Hooray!
Hooray for the dragon.
Hooray!
I know you're just trying to appeal to my autistic sensibilities, but it won't work.
Oh, come on, Dragon. There's got to be some sort of fight, even if it's just a little fight.
That's it, a little fight. No one need get hurt. We'll arrange it. I'll have to spear you somewhere. Now, let's see. There must be a spare part somewhere. You're so very big. How about here?
Oh, that tickles. That tickles.
Well, how about there?
That tickles even more.
Well, then, how about your thick neck?
I didn't feel that at all.
Excellent. And then, of course, you pretend to die.
But are you sure you could hit that spot right off?
Why do you think I am called St. George the Dragon Killer? Oh, sorry, old man.
Wait a minute. You're going to get famous, St. George, but what about my friend the dragon?
Yes, what happens to me after I'm vanquished in mortal combat?
Well, let's see. There'll be a banquet and speeches.
Speeches? Could I recite my new poem about the battle between the dragon and St. George?
I think you mean St. George and the dragon.
Yes, that one.
Well, of course, you may recite it.
By George, I'll do it.
But of course, you understand, you'll have to do your part in the fight. I mean, you'll have to ramp and rampage and breathe a bit of fire.
Well, I can ramp and rampage, but I've never breathed fire in my life.
Oh, I'm sure you can do it if you try, old man.
I'll do my best.
Excellent. I'll see you first thing in the morning.
Good
night.
Goodbye.
Good night.
First thing in the morning.
Good night.
Oh, first thing in the morning. Oh, this.
So they all went home to get a good night's sleep. Next morning, when the sun rose and the cock crew, they strung up the banners for the great battle. They rang the church bell, blew the trumpet. Hear ye, we now begin the great battle between St. George and the dragon. On one side of the downs, we have St. George, the Dragon Killer. And on the other side of the downs, we have the dragon. And on the other side, we have the dragon. We have the dragon. I didn't think he had it in him.
By dragon, there was a deadly dragon.
No, dragon. Not now. It's time to fight.
Round the first.
How did I do?
You missed.
Oh, maybe if I pointed at him.
Maybe. Round the second.
Pain, oh, agony. Oh.
Dragon, you've got to make a better show. Why don't you breathe fire this time?
Round the third.
Achoo!
Dragon, that was a bit too good. This time, you pretend to die.
Ah, 'tis a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done before. 'Tis a far, far more
No, not
restless
now, Dragon.
Round the fourth.
I fall. I bleed. I die.
Come along, dear. Now's the time to chop off his head. Chop off his head, I say.
No, you can't do that.
Madam, that is not necessary. for you can clearly see that that dragon is dead.
Here, I'll prove it to you.
Mr. Mayor, I can explain this. You see, the dragon is really a poet, and I promised him that he might recite a poem at the end of the battle.
By dragon, there was a friendly dragon who in battle did he fall, but as a flowery poet, he's the greatest of them all.
Now, good people, I suggest that you allow the dragon to remain up there in the cave. After all, no one else is using it anyway.
Oh, that's exactly what I said.
Well, I always did say it would be a feather in our cap to have our very own dragon, what?
I said that too.
Dragon. Dragon! Ah!
Well, everyone seemed quite pleased. Almost everyone. They had a banquet with lots more poems by dragon.
By dragon.
Afterwards, the boy decided to see the dragon home, so St. George went along also. And arm in arm they climbed up the hill, the saint, the dragon, and the boy. The lights in the village began to go out, but there were stars and a late moon, and as they disappeared from sight, snatches of a song drifted down on the night breeze. You know, I can't be sure, but I think it was a dragon singing.